I am so excited for this conversation today, and I'm welcoming Jackie McDonald, my dear friend, a client, a colleague, all of the things. I am so excited to have you here today, Jackie, to really dive into another conversation around self-mastery. So you are known as the EFT tapping queen. Tell us a little bit about your journey of self-mastery and what that means to you.
Awesome. Well, yes, first of all, thank you so much, Cindy, for having me today and also for all the things you do. If you guys don't have Cindy in your world, like she is my right-hand woman when it comes to really doing all the things in my business, doing the right things in my business, and really honoring my energy at the same time. So I'm really happy to be here with you. I'm so grateful for you in my life. And I love this topic of self-mastery. I think it's needed now more than ever. I started my journey, it's kind of funny, but I think I started my journey when I was about 19, which sounds funny, but I was pregnant at the time. I had my daughter at a young age. And shortly after that, EFT tapping came into my life. And it came into my life because I had a lot of loss in a short amount of time. So the year my daughter was born, I lost 5 people back to back, one after the other. And my physical body had all these really weird symptoms that the doctors just didn't have answers for. And one day a woman came into my life and she did this thing called tapping. And she's like, it sounds weird, but it works really well. And its official name is emotional freedom techniques. And at the time, my mom was like, that's what my daughter needs. Can you do whatever you need to do with her? And so I had a 2-hour session and I felt my whole entire life change. Truly from that moment, I started on this path of self-mastery, and I studied EFT for a full year. I did training for a year, and then I did business training after that. And it's been my everything. It's gotten me through all sorts of loss, all sorts of uncertainty into a state of really thriving as a mother, thriving in business and in relationships too. So yeah, that's a summary of where I started.
I love that. And I know that there's a lot of EFT practitioners out there who tap out your crap, right? I know that there's a couple of people that I know personally that say that, but you do things a little bit differently. Do you want to talk about that for a minute?
Thank you. Yes, I'd love to. So my core concept is we need to release in order to receive. And I agree that, yes, you can tap out physical pain in your body, you can tap out trauma, but you can also tap in to higher frequencies and vibration. And so that's really my focus, is to use tapping to elevate people's emotion and elevate people's energy. But doing it, the thing about tapping is that it's done in a way that is, you don't need to pretend or fake that you're fine. Tapping allows you to really speak your truth. And if you're having a tough day and you're frustrated and angry, you can give yourself the space to be frustrated and angry and feel that emotion and quickly move into a state of peace, right? You and I always talk about prioritize peace. Yes. And it really moves your body into that state. So you're not just like forcing an affirmation or forcing yourself to feel better. It walks you through it in a really gentle way.
Yeah, and I love that. And I think it's important to remind ourselves that we can't fake it till you make it with the universe. The universe knows if you feel like shit, right?
Yeah.
And so giving yourself that space to just acknowledge that and feel that, I think is really important. It's an important part of the self-mastery journey.
Absolutely. Yeah, because you can say affirmations all day long, but if on a subconscious level you don't believe them, you might be like affirming something like, yes, this is going to happen for me, but there's a voice in the back of your head that says, I don't believe it. Like, I don't think you can, and I don't know if that's possible, and you're not smart enough or skinny enough or whatever it is. When we give those fears a voice through tapping, it releases it on a subconscious level. So our brain is actually prepped to receive an affirmation and believe it.
Oh, I love that. And I've done tapping with Jackie. It's a game changer. Yeah. I remember one tapping experience that I had with you, and I came to the call already blissed out. Yeah. And I was like on top of the world. I'm like, Jackie, I don't have any crap to tap. Like, I feel good. And your question to me was, what do you want to amplify? And I was like,
Mhm.
oh.
Yes.
And I remember right after that tapping session, I went for a walk afterwards to let it land. And I was just like on cloud nine. It was off the charts. And I came back and I created a whole bunch of stuff. And it really, it amplified that
Yeah.
level of vibration. It was really cool.
And yeah, you can tap into parts of yourself. So I talk a lot about the woman I'm becoming and help people think about the person that they're becoming and what is he or she like and how does she act? What does she wear? What does she feel like? And so when we're tapping, we can tap and tell the story. So one of the core manifestation tips is to tell the story before it happens or to give gratitude for things that aren't here yet. But if you do that while tapping on your body, all systems are working with you, right? So your body is responding to those statements. And you'll notice sometimes they'll respond in like, oh my goodness, yes, this is happening for me. Or they'll respond in resistance and be like, oh, I want that to be true, but there's a part of me that has a hard time believing it. Tapping really quickly navigates you through the parts of self that are resistant, and you can release it and get into that amplified state.
Yeah, so good. So good. So what do you think self-mastery actually means? Because it's a pretty vague term.
That's a good question. I really think that it's a commitment, I would say. Self-mastery is a commitment to knowing and loving yourself on a deeper level, and including the not so pretty parts, because we're made up of such a wide range of emotions. And my whole message is that all parts of us are welcome here. And I think self-mastery is really loving and accepting all those parts of ourselves on some level, which is the basis of EFT is I love and accept myself anyway.
Right? Yeah. I say that all the time, even when I'm not tapping. And I think I love that you say that, because I find in this industry that it's this idea of being high vibe all the time and being positive all the time.
Yeah.
And that's like saying that you should be a robot and
Right.
not feel your emotions.
Yeah.
And my idea of self-mastery is very similar to yours, is that all pieces of you are welcome. You are human. And just because you have a level of emotional mastery doesn't mean that you're not still going to be triggered. Shit's still going to hit the fan.
Yes. And I love that, our friend Joy Kingsborough always says, the more you know yourself, the more you love yourself. And I think that that's really what self-mastery is the willingness to know yourself on a deeper level.
I love that. And be willing to face the not so pretty parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'd be happy to tap with you guys if that's what you want, if you want people to have an experience today with it.
Let's do it.
Awesome. So I have my own method to EFT, and I call it the McDonald manifestation method, because I have a sequence that I use to help people use this technique efficiently. And I actually teach it. So I train people in it and teach them how to set it up themselves. So one of the things that I start with is to get clear on what you want. So what I want right now is, so you could fill in the blank, I really want to feel calm, at peace. I really want to feel inspired or motivated. How would you fill in that sentence, Cindy?
I want to feel powerful.
I really want to feel powerful. Okay. And I know you usually have a pretty easy time feeling that way. So for those of us that are not feeling that way or listening in, I really want to feel powerful or positive or hopeful or excited. But the truth is right now I'm feeling a little scared, or I'm feeling a little tired, or is there anything that comes up for you? I want to feel powerful, but.
Yeah, and thinking about the current circumstances and what's going on, and people that are listening in, probably uncertain.
Uncertain. Yes. Okay. So that is these are the two things I take for a setup statement in tapping. So even though I want to feel powerful, the truth is right now things are a little unsettled and uncertain, and I love and accept myself anyway. So I'm going to show you guys how I put this together. If you're new to tapping, I always say it's better experienced than explained. So it kind of looks funny. Might sound a little like, what is this woman making me do? But it's a very personal experience. Everyone has something different come up for them. Sometimes that's emotion, like tears. Sometimes that's like a deep breath. Sometimes that's a yawn. All those signs are good. It means your nervous system is shifting, you're relaxing, you're going into a rest repose mode, and that it feels so good to finally speak your truth. I think lots of humans just pretend we're good, I'm fine. Like, how many times do we hear women say, I'm fine, me, I'm good.
Right? Bullshit.
Yeah, which maybe you are, but there's also moments when we're not fine, and that's okay too. So to get started, if you're in a place to do so, obviously if you're driving, don't close your eyes. But if you're in a comfortable place to do so, I invite you to close your eyes and just take a few comfortable breaths in and out at your own pace. And giving yourself permission to just set aside anything you were doing before this. And set aside anything you'll go to after this. Knowing that this is a space just for you to lean into what you want and to acknowledge any parts of you that are feeling resistant or unsure. Any parts of you that are having a hard time believing that you can really have that. All right, so our first step is to start by tapping on the side of the hand. This is called the karate chop point, sort of the fleshy, meaty part of the hand. And doesn't matter which hand you use, you're just going to tap and repeat after me. So Cindy will be my echo. So we're going to say, even though I want to feel powerful.
Even though I want to feel powerful.
Right now, things are a little uncertain.
Right now, things are a little uncertain.
Sometimes that makes me feel unsettled.
Sometimes that makes me feel unsettled.
And I love and accept myself anyway.
And I love and accept myself anyway.
Even though deep down, I know I am powerful.
I know I am powerful.
Some days it's hard for me to tune into that.
Some days it's hard for me to tune into that.
And that's okay.
And that's okay.
I love and accept myself anyway.
I love and accept myself anyway.
Good job. And we're going to say, even though I want to feel powerful.
Even though I want to feel powerful.
Things are feeling a little uncertain right now.
Things are feeling a little uncertain right now.
There's a part of me that feels a little unsettled.
There's a part of me that feels a little unsettled.
And that's okay. I love and accept myself anyway.
And that's okay. I love and accept myself anyway.
And I'd like to give the part of me.
And I'd like to give the part of me.
That feels unsure right now.
That feels unsure right now.
A voice.
A voice.
All right. So now we're going to tap on the top of the head. This would be the crown of the head. And we're going to give a voice to that part of you that feels unsure. So you can repeat after me, Cindy, and say, all this uncertainty.
All of this uncertainty.
Eyebrow point. And everything it's made me feel.
And everything it's made me feel.
Side of the eye. Any anxiety it stirred up in my body.
Any anxiety it stirred up in my body.
Underneath the eye. Any fear that I have been feeling.
Any fear that I've been feeling.
Underneath the nose. I'm willing to give it a voice.
I'm willing to give it a voice.
Underneath the mouth. I'm afraid of what might happen next.
I'm afraid of what might happen next.
Collarbone point. I'm afraid for my family.
I'm afraid for my family.
Underneath the arms. I'm afraid for my job.
I'm afraid for my job.
Underneath the chest. I'm afraid for the world.
I'm afraid for the world.
Tapping on the wrists. These are some things I've kept inside.
These are some things I've kept inside.
Top of the head. The things I've tried not to feel.
The things I've tried not to feel.
Eyebrow point, or tried not to say.
Or tried not to say.
Side of the eye are allowed to come out now.
Are allowed to come out now.
Underneath the eye. I am releasing these fears today.
I am releasing these fears today.
Underneath the nose. I don't need to carry them anymore.
I don't need to carry them anymore.
Underneath the mouth. It's safe for me to start letting them go.
It's safe for me to start letting them go.
All right, so you can take a nice gentle breath. So now I just want you to notice on a scale of 0 to 10, if any of you had any uncertainty or anxiety, what number you would give it. So maybe at the beginning it felt like a 10 and it went down to a 7. We've done a very quick round of tapping. If we were working a little bit longer together, we'd stay a little bit longer on that space of like, what else are you afraid of? Well, I'm afraid that my kids will fail because they're not going to school, or whatever things are on your mind. It's just a space to let them go. So now that we're in the in-between, we're going to start giving ourselves permission to release it. So tapping kind of goes in 3 segments. The first segment is venting. It's saying all the shit that you haven't been saying.
Right.
And sometimes people are like, I can't say that. That's negative. And it's like, but you are storing it inside. It's saying the truth is, this is how I feel right now. And instead of pretending or shoving it into a corner, I'm just going to air it out and let it come out.
Acknowledge it.
Acknowledge it. Yeah. And accept that, yes, this is what I'm currently experiencing. The second stage is that I'm open to feeling differently. I'm open to leaning into seeing things differently, feeling differently, maybe even feeling powerful. So we'll go into that next phase if you're ready. Awesome. So let's tap again on the side of the hand and say, even though there's still some stress and worry,
even though there's still some stress and worry,
I'm starting to feel better.
I'm starting to feel better.
And I'm open to letting it go.
And I'm open to letting it go.
Even though I know I'm powerful.
Even though I know I'm powerful.
There's been a lot of craziness going on.
There's been a lot of craziness going on.
That has distracted me.
That has distracted me.
And I am finding my way back.
And I am finding my way back.
To my truth and my power now.
To my truth and my power now.
Even though things are still uncertain.
Even though things are still uncertain.
I can be powerful.
I can be powerful.
I'm headed in that direction now.
I'm headed in that direction now.
Let's go to the top of the head and say any fear or uncertainty.
Any fear or uncertainty.
Eyebrow point that I have been focused on.
That I have been focused on.
Side of the eye, I am releasing it now.
I am releasing it now.
Underneath the eye, I am changing my focus now.
I am changing my focus now.
Underneath the nose, I am changing directions.
I am changing directions.
Underneath the mouth, I'm remembering how powerful I am.
I'm remembering how powerful I am.
Collarbone point, I am remembering how capable I am.
I'm remembering how capable I am.
Underneath the arms, I am remembering how resilient I am.
I'm remembering how resilient I am.
Underneath the chest, I can do hard things.
I can do hard things.
Wrist point, I've done them before.
I've done them before.
Top of the head, and I will do them again.
And I will do them again.
Eyebrow point, I am an overcomer.
I am an overcomer.
Side of the eye, I am a warrior.
I am a warrior.
Underneath the eye, I am a force.
I am a force.
Underneath the nose, so I can choose to focus on the fear.
So I can choose to focus on the fear.
Underneath the mouth, and I can give myself all the time I need to process it.
And I can give myself all the time I need to process it.
Collarbone point, and when I'm ready.
And when I'm ready.
Underneath the arms, I can lean back into love.
I can lean back into love.
Underneath the chest, I am leaning back into love now.
I am leaning back into love now.
Wrist point, I remembering how powerful I am.
I am remembering how powerful I am.
Top of the head, and I am headed in a new direction.
And I am headed in a new direction.
All right, so take a nice gentle breath. So how true does that feel for you, Cindy?
It's really interesting. And I love that you shared beforehand that sometimes we burp or yawn or things come up, right?
Yeah.
And I feel pretty powerful because I do this work, right? Not tapping, but I do a lot of this self-mastery work. But I could still, in that second segment, feel the amplification of it, right?
Yeah.
And like, okay, we can just let go a little bit more, right?
Yeah, it starts to pick up momentum a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think too that a lot of the people I work with are verbal processors, so it helps for them to talk things out. And so if you talk and tap at the same time, it can give you really great clarity. The other thing that sometimes I notice for myself is I don't really realize how much I'm in my mind until I start tapping and my body starts to respond. It's like, thank you for letting this go. So it's a great way to also connect your mind and your body together to say, okay, you have been working hard in your mind to solve all the world's problems. You can take a break and you can breathe. You can come back into the moment. And when you look around right now in your room, hopefully everything is fairly calm and normal, and that whatever happens, I can handle it. So the last phase of tapping that I do, which I actually kind of incorporated here, is affirmations. So you can tap into that momentum, like you said, like I am amplifying my power now. I am amplifying my momentum now. I am resilient. I am smart. Whatever happens, I do handle it. I have done hard things and I will do them again. And I can do them with ease. And I'm finding ways to do things that are easier for me now and better for me now. So, should we do that last round of tapping in some affirmations?
Absolutely.
All right. So this time we're just going to tap straight on the top of the head. We're not going to do it on the hands. And we're going to say, as I shift gears today,
As I shift gears today,
eyebrow point, and remember how powerful I am.
and remember how powerful I am.
Side of the eye, I feel excited.
I feel excited
Underneath the eye, about the new possibilities.
about the new possibilities
Underneath the nose that are now available to me.
that are now available to me.
Underneath the mouth, the world is changing.
The world is changing.
Collarbone point, I am changing.
I am changing.
Underneath the arms, and instead of resisting it,
And instead of resisting it,
underneath the chest, I'm open to going with the flow.
I'm open to going with the flow.
Wrist point, I am flowing with change.
I am flowing with change.
Top of the head, I am releasing.
I am releasing.
Eyebrow point, and I am receiving.
And I am receiving.
Side of the eye, I'm receiving new insights.
I'm receiving new insights.
Underneath the eye, new ways of doing things.
New ways of doing things.
Underneath the nose, new power and momentum.
New power and momentum.
Underneath the mouth, I am welcoming in a new world.
I am welcoming in a new world.
Collarbone point, I am choosing to step up and shine.
I am choosing to step up and shine.
Underneath the arms, I'm choosing to show up and support others.
I'm choosing to show up and support others.
Underneath the chest, in the best way that I know how.
In the best way that I know how.
Wrist point, while supporting myself too.
While supporting myself too.
Top of the head, I am amplifying my power now.
I am amplifying my power now.
Eyebrow point, I am amplifying my hope.
I am amplifying my hope.
Side of the eye, I am amplifying my light.
I am amplifying my light.
Underneath the eye, I am not afraid to shine.
I am not afraid to shine.
Underneath the nose, we're in this together.
We're in this together.
Underneath the mouth, and I am ready.
And I am ready.
All right.
Ooh, that feels good.
Good. Yeah, so that would probably speak to the leaders that are feeling this time as an opportunity. I know there's people in different places. There's people that are like, what the hell is going on? I'm freaking out. This is insane. There's people that are like, oh my goodness, we saw this coming. We've been through this. Fear and uncertainty is okay. And, one of the things that EFT really taught me was that in uncertainty lies immense possibility. There's a lot of potential and possibility here, but that's one side of the nervous system that you and I can help people get onto, and that it's a road that you have to walk together.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that you bring up the nervous system, because I think that's something that not everybody is fully aware of how it works and how important it is to navigate right now during these times. So let's talk about that just a little bit before we end this podcast and lean into that. So what's your take on the nervous system and how it helps support us in uncertain times?
Yeah, so my take with tapping is obviously, so there's the fight or flight or the rest repose. And we often call that like dolphin brain would be rest and repose. Everything is fun and free. And we're like, life is working for us. Yeah. And then there's T-Rex mode where you have the big head and little arms and you can't get anything done and everything feels hard and you're fighting with yourself. So when we're tapping, we're actually interrupting the fight or flight response in the body. So we have this energy pathway. It goes from the top of our head to the bottom of our feet. And when we tap, we're actually clearing out that pathway. So whether you're saying something or not, whether you believe in it or not, it's working. And that's when you'll start to notice you start to yawn, you start to burp, because your body is shifting into a better feeling state. And then often that makes you feel really tired. So if people are feeling tired right now, it's because it's a rush of good endorphins. You're like, oh, I can feel better. Your body wants to rest. Yeah. So yeah, 100%. The nervous system is affected by our environment. So things like the news, social media, the people we're surrounded by affect our physical body, affect our nervous system, and our thoughts affect our nervous system. So I use tapping to interrupt. If I'm feeling that fight or flight, I can just tap on the points and not even say anything. But by using my thoughts to direct my nervous system, so like I want to feel powerful. And even though I don't right now, that's okay. That's sort of hopefully that makes sense, but that's my method of bringing my body and my mind together to be on the same team.
I love that. I love that. And, there's lots of different tools that we can use to navigate the nervous system. I personally use meditation for the most part, but I
Mhm.
know how powerful tapping is. There's lots of other tools. And I'm so grateful for you being here and sharing one of these tools to help support the world during these uncertain times. So thank
Yeah.
you.
You're so welcome. Meditation, I agree, is amazing. But if you are someone who has a hard time turning off your mind or you're a verbal processor, I would highly recommend trying out tapping.
Absolutely. Or try them all. The more support you give your nervous system right now, the better.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much, Jackie. And is there anything else you'd like to add to the conversation before we end the call?
I would just tell people to like really experiment on your journey. Like follow the breadcrumbs. If you're like this emotional mastery thing, there's so many things to learn and it's all so cool. Like really just follow what you're nudged towards and let it be an experiment. You don't have to do any of it perfectly. I mean, mastery isn't a one-time thing. It's a continual practice. And the refinement of your practice helps you become masterful. But for me, it's included a lot of different things. So thank you so much, Cindy. I hope to have more conversations like this in the future.
All the conversations about self-mastery.
Yes,
Thank you so much, Jackie.
you're welcome.